AFP contract projections as free agency draws near. Coming up next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcasts, and please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. I am, of course, a longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of the Saturday Sports Beat on Odyssey. And Chris, the collectibles editor for the Hockey News and the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports. Now, coming up on today's show, we'll have our AFP projections. First of all, we'll look at unrestricted free agents, and then we'll have projections on restricted free agents. And later on, we'll talk about the NHL Conference Championships. So yesterday, we gave our opinions, right, Chris, of who we felt should stay on the roster or who should be gonzo. Who should leave or who probably won't get extended or a new contract or what have you. And we have used from AFP contract projections some of James and Kyle's projections in the past. And we took guesses at what we thought some AAV numbers might be on yesterday's show, what it might look like for these pending players whose contracts are up. AFP's numbers are based on analytics, and so first, let's talk about the UFAs, right? So let's start off with Reilly Smith. They have him at 2 times 4.38, and this changes the complexion, right, of whether or not you're going to sign a player, because we feel as though, or felt, I did at least, that VGK is going to leverage Reilly Smith and say, you don't want to leave here again. You have the house here. It's like paradise to you. But according to their projections, Reilly Smith probably would command 2 years times 4.38 million. And I guess 2 to 2.5 on yesterday's show times 2. Will VGK pay Smith around $4 million? That's the big question there.
Well, that's a big question. And I don't see a path to Reilly Smith being anywhere over $3 million to continue and possibly finish his career with the Vegas Golden Knights. Golden Knights right now, it's like $9.8 million, call it, in salary cap space. And these are a chunk of the players that the Golden Knights need to consider right now. You're talking Reilly Smith, Olofsson, Saad, Samsonov, Pearson, and then RFAs need to get paid too. Hague, Holtz, Schwintz, and Lavoie. You mentioned those 9 players, and all of a sudden that 9.8, call it $10 million for short, that $10 million doesn't go very far. So the first question you ask is Reilly Smith worth 40% of the remaining free agent budget? And the answer is no. Now, hold on a second. Reilly Smith loves Vegas. Golden Knights, I think, would like to keep Reilly Smith on the Golden Knights. So you mentioned the leverage in the house and all that. Well, the Golden Knights have the leverage. Hey, dude, you want to stay here? Here's $2.5 million, for 2 or 3 seasons, take it or leave it. I don't know if that works out. And they also might work out where the AAV maybe is a different hit as the contract progresses. Maybe they'll offer him, maybe they'll defer the money until 2030.
Oh, I knew you were going there. Yeah, that's pretty ugly. Okay. Victor Olofsson, 3 times $3.4 million. That would be triple his current salary, makes 1.08. I did have a good season, 29 points and a plus 17. You're adding with your fingers. You're scaring me.
6 words. Good luck in your future endeavors. I mean,
are you counting the words?
Olofsson, I don't know. Olofsson, that's the thing. Olofsson isn't, I don't think, going to come back. Like, Olofsson was okay, right? He much better, of course, in the play or in the power play than he was on 5-on-5 circumstances. He could play on PP1, but dude can't play defense and can't kill penalties. So again, this is maybe the decision is Reilly Smith or Victor Olofsson, and that's not an easy decision because
Yeah.
You look at what the Golden Knights power play did. Olofsson was a big part of that, as was Pavel Dorofeev too, which are kind of the same player to some degree, but Dorofeev a little more polished and a lot more upside, of course. So the decision might come down to Reilly Smith or Olofsson because it's not going to be both. And it's not a cut and dry decision on Olofsson's side, I don't think, right? You
No.
need a player like
No.
Reilly in the bottom six. You need that penalty killer, need that inspiration. Everyone loves him here in Vegas. He loves being here. So that's tough. That's a tough one. But if it's going to be 3.4 in 3 years, I don't know if the Golden Knights go down that path again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting on that one. And then I think one that I feel is manageable if it's around that ballpark is Brendan Saad. The projections that they have for him are two times 2.6 million. And again, keep in mind he had 30 points between St. Louis and VGK, and they felt as though the Golden Knights and McCrimmon did that they lost a lot there on the hurdle line when he went down, and of course the injuries there to him and to Dorofeev.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, was Brandon Saad the glue that kind of kept that line together? And there's a lot of questions about the Edmonton series. I don't think Brandon Saad's injury is ultimately why the Golden Knights lost this series. But, it's something that goes into the stew when you're trying to mix the ingredients around and figure out what happened. 6-8, 14 points, and then 7-9 for the Blues. So, like you said, 30 points, minus 14 for the Blues, plus 6 for the Golden Knights. So he was playing at least a responsible game on top of his ability to put up some points. Going through some career numbers for Brandon Saad, career high, he hit the 52, 53 point levels going back with his Blackhawks and Columbus Blue Jacket days. But we're also talking 2014, 2015, 2016 when that occurred. What you can expect from Brandon Saad is probably a 40-point year if he's able to put together a healthy season, which he's been largely reliable. He played 72 games total last season, 82 before that, 71, 78. Looks like 44 of the 56 COVID games, 58 before that, 80, 82, 82. So, I mean, if you can get 70 games, 75 games, and 40 points out of Brandon Saad, and it's only going to cost what AFP say a 2 points.
2.6.
I'll take some of that all day for 2 years. Absolutely. All
Yeah,
day.
I think so too. I have to agree with you on that one. The goaltender Ilya Samsonov, they have at 1 times 2 million, and I don't believe VGK is going to pay that money.
Two
When you
words.
start
2 words. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
just 2 words. Okay, what is it?
Just 2 words. Go away.
Get lost. I thought you were going to say.
Nah, go. Get
Wait, you're
lost.
counting
It's
on
too bad.
2
Go away.
words. He's counting on all his fingers how to. Okay, you got to 2 words. How much do you think Samsonov is worth on the open market?
I
Do you
mean,
think he'll get 2 million? I think by someone. I think right.
Samsonov's agent is going to sell the fact that he played a good game 7 for the Toronto Maple Leafs 2 years ago or a couple seasons ago, and he's a goalie who can probably get you 35, 40 appearances if need be. Samsonov was fine last year for his stats, for his compensation. It wasn't pretty, but it was exactly what you thought it was going to be. It was periods of good hockey. It was periods of, is Samsonov the man next year? There was a time when early in the season, especially when Adin Hill had some struggles, it was like, and Adin Hill didn't have his contract. It was like, okay, are Adin Hill and Schmid really the goalies next season? And there was a moment where that might not have felt as bad as it might feel right now. Of course, before Schmidt obviously had his not so great season with the Henderson Silver Knights. What is Samsonov worth? I mean, honestly, it's probably exactly where AFP has him.
Yeah, he'll be around that number.
He might get a 2-year deal in the $4 million range, but he's going to be an NHL journeyman that's going to just bounce around until he puts up a good season somewhere, and then they'll give him that 3 or 4 year deal, maybe for $10-12 million. But for now, it's keep your suitcases packed because he just can't stay consistent.
Georgiev, all right, we've talked about him, and maybe he takes his spot because he's a better goaltender than Alexander Georgiev.
If you get the truth between Georgiev and Samsonov, your franchise is in peril.
Yeah, your franchise is in peril. And then the final one here on the UFAs, Tanner Pearson. So I think he's undervalued. um, they're saying there at AFP, and by the way, James or Kyle, one of the two, or maybe both, are going to join us. We put it off until June there, so we can talk to the guys from AFP right around the contract time and see if these numbers will be adjusted. But Tanner Pearson, they have it 1 year, $944,000. He made 775,000 this past year. He's worth more to me. I would put his value here at least at around 1.5. I mean, double his salary. That's low.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Keep him though.
he
I
this
like the
time
way he's
last
contributing.
year,
Yeah.
this time last year, his season ends with the Montreal Canadiens. He had just put up 13 points, was a minus 12 in 54 games. Canadiens not a playoff team last year. So basically, this time last year, his agents, right about now, starting to work the phones, seeing who's going to bring him aboard. No offers, no phone calls, no nothing. So Kelly McCrimmon swoops in and offers him a PTO. I don't know how many other teams offered him PTOs at the time, but he which was a bit not mind-boggling, but you saw what happened with Max Comtois the previous year, who came to the Golden Knights on a PTO, and I mean that was dead
They
in the
hated him.
water.
They
Well, I mean,
hated him.
they're two different
Cassidy was like,
scenarios.
Cassidy couldn't even fake it, man. He was like, yeah, I don't
He
really,
didn't fit in.
I don't
He
know.
didn't
He
fit in.
just did
That's
not
all.
fit
I
in.
mean,
Is
whatever.
he
He
the
didn't
first
fit in.
one? Is Pearson the first one that made it on a PTO
I
here?
think so. I think we talked about that. I don't think there was any other PTOs
I can't.
besides
Well, I
Pearson.
can't remember any. Yeah, I don't know if I can't
Or not
remember.
Pearson. I'm sorry, Comtois. Pardon me, before Comtois. Should
Yeah,
have been Phil Kessel that year too, but whatever. So going on with Pearson, comes to the Golden Knights on a PTO. 27 points plus 4, played on all 4 lines, I believe,
yeah.
throughout the season. Coach Cassidy's kind of go-to as far as, hey,
He likes him. Yeah, they'll
we need
keep
a
him.
spark on that top line, go get him. And I mean, again, 12 goals from someone who didn't even have a contract as of, probably sometime in mid to late September, probably didn't get signed until right before the first game. So, credit to Pearson and what he did. Can he rekindle that magic somewhere else in a new system and just fit in? No, I
for
don't
a
think so.
million. For $1
Yeah, I
million
mean,
bucks.
he's been in the NHL since 2013, 2014. I don't know his personal financial situation, but I
Right.
gotta think it's more about staying in the show than it is trying to land, a 3x3 deal with someone, which ain't gonna happen in Vegas, obviously.
Well,
So
he's obviously a hungry player. I mean, the way he went to the net, and that's something that a lot of players neglected to do this season.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind, if you got 2 years, 1.5, something like that, that would be a good win-win for him. It's up from, like you said, what it was last year. And, he's a healthy, reliable player that you can rely on for call it 10 goals and call it good. What's interesting are the projections for the UFAs once they can start negotiating. Of course, Eichel is the lead. Ben Hutton's in there too, but Eichel, that's the one that's going to have a lot of people talking right now for what that extension is going to be worth.
Yeah, and we can talk about that real fast. And on AFP's contract projections, we've been bandying about term and how much he'll make per season. And I put 12.5 million in the poll just to kind of have a starting point, right? Because if you're giving a player 8 years, maybe he'll do it for 12.5. Who knows if they like it here? But Eichel, they have projected at 8 years times 14 million. So definitely going to drive the market up. And VGK is going to have to pay him, and they're going to have to agree to terms. They have to.
Somebody will, if just go doom and gloom. Let's go all the way to the end of the 2025-26 season. July 1st, 2026. I'm assuming that's the free agency day. Might be a couple days before or behind based on what day that falls on. But point being, July 1st is basically when the free agent period starts every year. And if the Golden Knights do not offer Jack 8 times 14, there will be 10 teams that have that 8 times 14 on the table for him. Benefits to, of course, in Vegas. One, he likes it here. He's cemented here. He's planted here now. He has his hockey camp over the summer, the softball camp. I mean, he does everything he needs to do to be worthy of consideration. And the second thing I'll say about Jack is you don't make a trade for a player like Jack Eichel not knowing what the end game is, right? You know that when he's 29 years old or 28, whatever the number is right now, 29 because it'll be next year, whatever, who cares? Under 30 years old, you don't trade for Jack Eichel not expecting that next contract not to be anything less than 7 years, not to be anything less than 7 years. And could there be a path where he nets out 100 million at 7 years? Maybe. 8 times 14 seems logical. 7 times 13 was kind of the hometown discount maybe that I put out there too.
Right.
But again, 7 times 13 here goes a lot farther than it does here, Toronto,
Right.
LA, New York, et cetera, et cetera.
Not
So
Dallas
I think
to
that's a
Florida.
consideration too.
Eichel to Florida, start the rumors.
Florida,
Well,
Nashville, any of those
bargaining
states that have the benefits.
right at the bargaining table, I'm sure McCrimmon's going to throw in an extra day of car detailing too. So that could be a big perk. Coming up next, AFP projections for restricted free agents. Don't go away. We'll return with more right here on Lockdown Golden Knights. Are you looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious? You need to crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios, one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of the daily value. Plus, they are packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. And again, personally, I think, Chris, you're aligned, right, with the no shells ones.
Lock it in.
You're locked on to the ones there that have the no shells. So am I. That variety, it's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether we are snacking at our desks. Chris is always at his desk. On a road trip, a road trip would be to T-Mobile Arena for the Golick family. Or if you just need that little boost and a little pick-me-up, it is a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. Whether you are running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. So Vegas, let's get snacking and cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Get cracking, Vegas. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com. Back on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Of course, don't forget Fridays are WTF Day, Saturdays, the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. Topic numero uno on that show, painting the ice, maybe on Saturday. You're going to talk
maybe.
about
We
that?
signed up Chris for a 7 a.m. hockey clinic at Elevate Vegas. So we'll see if we're going to record on Saturday or not. We got an early morning.
Okay. But so painting the ice, did you paint in the blue paint?
No, we didn't go in the crease. We were right next to the crease. We were right next to it.
Why?
We have the same spot we go to every year. And the kid, Amanda always draws something for the family and puts all of our names, including the 3 cats and the hamster now.
The hamster's still kicking.
God, yeah. We only got Bella about around Christmas time. It was only 6 months.
Oh, okay.
They usually go 3-4 years.
All right.
So that's a good thing.
No, it looked like a lot of fun for the
I know it's great. Kids painted their Go Knights Go stuff, and we walked around. I mean, again, for me, honestly, I don't care about painting. I like watching the kids paint and just seeing how everyone else is taking it. And I just my favorite part is just walking around, looking up, looking around. You know, it's an experience that not a lot of people get to do on a yearly basis, and it's just one of those that it's an awesome perk. I mean, it's just an awesome perk of being a VGK season ticket holder, getting that half hour, 45 minutes just to be out there, be on the ice, have that moment, and it gives you a taste of something you can't see every day.
This is true. And today we're looking at, in case you are just going back and forth, but we are talking about the AFP projections. We did unrestricted free agents, and it kind of puts in new perspective everything we spoke about on yesterday's show with should he stay or should he go? And if these are going to be around the numbers, and these guys do a terrific job, James and Kyle there at AFP. If these are the legit numbers based on analytics and such, then there's going to be some players here that aren't going to make the list. Let's just face that. So the top RFAs, and you have to lead off with Nic Hague, and their projections at AFP are 2 times 2.6. He makes 229. So just a 3% raise.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, I'm sorry, I wasn't sure if you were done there or not. Yeah, I mean, I
no.
guess number one is Nic Hague 3% of a better player than he was last year. I think that answer is yes, pretty comfortably. Offensive stats, I mean, you're not going to focus on those too often for Nic Hague. He's topped off at 5 goals twice last year, and then in the 2020-21 season. Um, 12 points. He had 17 points in the Stanley Cup year. -5, 23, 24, -2 this previous year, right around 40 penalty minutes every year. I mean, he's the type of player that the stats don't tell the story. I think he's a top 4 defender on many of the other NHL teams. In Vegas, he's on the third pairing because you got Theodore McNabb, Pietrangelo, and Hannafin, although Nic Hague did play up a lot more this season because of some of the issues with the top pair. Something I find interesting here that this might factor in his contract. So he had averaged 1840, 1805, 1833 time on ice for the last 3 years. It actually dropped to it says 1660. I don't know how that math works out. That sounds like 17 minutes to me if you do it like that. But
16,
we'll call it
You,
17 minutes of
you know
ice
what? You
time.
need to start counting on your
I
fingers.
know, yeah,
man.
this is where I'm like 1660. I
I
don't
don't know
see
what
that.
that
Okay, yeah.
means.
So
Right.
so he did drop a minute and a half from his previous season. So again, part of that's probably Noah Hannafin. Noah Hannafin logs a lot of minutes and everything, but I don't know if that's going to necessarily be a deterrent. But 3% does feel relatively low. I think he's going to be someone going for that $3 to $4 million range, or he
Man.
might just take that smaller deal to get things done here in Vegas. And then next year he tries to get paid with a 4x5 or something like that somewhere. I don't know.
So you think just a 1-year deal? Is that what you're thinking?
I think
Did they get him for 2?
you try and lock
If
him up
you
for
put
as
him out
long as you
there,
can right now. I
yeah,
mean,
this is where we're talking, about matching the offer sheet. If you put him out there at 2.6, I think someone's going to match that.
yeah, I mean, I don't know the specific stipulations behind that, but being RFA, the Golden Knights still have the ultimate control here. Whereas with Broberg and Holloway and Edmonton, I think at the end of the day, I think someone else basically put a number out there, and then the Oilers had a chance to match the numbers that were put out there. At the end of the day, the team who has the players
The
has
Oilers
the
put the
ultimate
number.
control.
The Oilers put the number out there, and then you can match it,
Yeah,
and then you
there's
counter.
more to that. At the end of the day, the team
It's
still
pretty
has the
simple.
last bargaining chip. They
Correct.
hold the trump card.
Correct. They can, yes,
So
they can come back and they could give more money to those said players. So that's going to be interesting. And some teams might match that, even so they can play a little psychological warfare with VGK and have them have to come back there and up the ante, if you will. So the other players here on the RFA list, Chris, we've got Alexander Holtz, who I'm sorry, I'm just not sold on.
they'll sign him, and he'll be buried in the American League until he figures it out. Easy topic.
They were talking so much about him, and I think that their expectations were much greater. Let's face it.
Holtz, there's more to
870,
that story. There's a lot more to that story. Devils gave him up really easily, despite having a pretty solid season. There's
correct.
there's something going on there, and there's something going. And I'm not knocking the guy. Just some people take a little bit longer to make it in the show. I guess maybe we'll keep it like that.
Okay, so Alex Holt, what they had projected there at AFP was 1 year times 874,000. Cole Schwint, another guy that's just a complimentary piece, if you will, drew in for what? 1 game in the Edmonton series. 1 year
Right.
at $840,000 is what they have him anticipated to be making. So those are 2 players, if you want those pieces, that are affordable, and it's not going to break the bank. And the other
Not a
one
bad
that
Henderson line right there. I mean, Holt, Schwint, Lavoie. That's not a bad Henderson
yeah,
line at all.
and I forgot about Lavoie being in the RFA category. but 1 year times 813. Out of those three, out of Holtz, Schwint, and Lavoie's got the most upside.
I'm with you. Lavoie's got the size, the upside. He's a Cassidy guy, wins his races, wins his battles, has that physicality game.
He showed well. He showed well while he was up.
Yeah, no, I mean, whatever the projection is, 1 times 8. If it's a Henderson contract, fine. If he works his way up to the NHL for injuries, or if he makes the team for otherwise, I mean, great, good on him. Dorofeev, how about those Dorofeev numbers though, Tony, down there?
Okay, so what is that category now?
So Dorofeev, number 1, he still has 1 more year left on his current RFA.
So they're talking
deal.
about whether if VGK decides that they're going to try to extend Pavel Dorofeev, but those numbers are eye-popping.
Yeah, I mean, number 1, Dorofeev right now, he was on a 25-26 will be the last of his 2-year deal that was 1.835 AAV. I mean, Dorofeev might have the highest or the lowest, if you will, cost per goal in the National Hockey League, at least for the 2024-25 season. This is where the teams just have the advantage of the RFA. So there's 2 numbers out here for Dorofeev. One is 1 times 5, and the other is 5 times 7.3. The 1 times 5 is the deal that maybe gets worked out where there's, I don't know if anyone's going to go play the offer sheet route for Dorofeev, although it would be a first-round pick back for the Vegas Golden Knights. Depending on the team that did that, that would be interesting. But I don't see a world that exists where the Golden Knights do not lock up Dorofeev and start those discussions, whether they wait until the end of the 25-26 season or if they do start having those discussions sometime early on. Because at least the earlier you start those discussions, then the next season at least where the salary is going to fall out and everything. But yeah, I mean, Dorofeev, right? We're talking a $5 million or possibly a $36 million, $37 million player. And I mean, I think he's worth it. I think he still has more upside.
He's worth 7.3 based
they
on
have him at
season?
5 times 7.3 for his RFA extension.
I think that's kind of high. I would not. I don't know. I don't think that I would pay him that much.
Well, but keep in mind,
Based
Tony, this is basing it off of 1 more season, putting up 30-something goals.
Right.
Growth in the game outside of scoring, physicality and knowledge and things like that.
And this is an organization that, again, gave Carlson an extension after 1 good season. So,
well, there you go, Tony. Well, they can't even do anything with Dorofeev until July 1st as far as starting to negotiate his next deal. But yeah, I mean, if they lock him up 5 times 7, I mean, I don't know. I mean, with the rising salary cap and everything, I don't think that's unreasonable.
And then they have Korzak, if you decide to try to extend him now, 1.7 million times 1. And hips don't lie, Akira Schmid, 1 year times 918,000. And well, if you're Schmid, you pay the waiting game. If he is going to be number 2 in this organization, he's going to have to play some 30 games. End of story. He's going to have to play.
Schmid, he's in line. He's also going to be in a training camp battle with Lindbaum. I do feel so strong.
You like Lindbaum.
Schmid's not getting the keys to the car. That's all I'm saying. He's not getting the keys to the car, and the car is the backup.
Okay, not going to be that easy. It's not just going to be given to him.
The only thing that might force Schmid into the backup role is they keep Lindbaum in the American League for more reps. That's the only reason that could happen too.
Yeah, and we'll get further perspective next month here, heading into free agency from those guys at 8.
Oh yeah, and these numbers will change too between now and then. As far
it'll be good.
It's
good to. Yeah. I really want to find out how they get to those numbers and put those
algos, baby, algos.
Of course. Coming up next, we'll talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's down to the final 4, almost the final 3, perhaps the final 3 very soon. Coming up next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Welcome back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick.
Are you writing off the Hurricanes?
Well, they're writing off themselves pretty much. Do you realize Carolina has now lost 13 straight games in the Eastern Conference Final? Because they were swept.
That wasn't a sweep. That wasn't a sweep. That's a Rod Brindamore quote, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, swept the last 2 years. They are 0-13
Wow,
their
what a
last
stat.
3
That's a
in the
crazy stat, Tony.
isn't
That's
that
crazy.
that last night, I was just popping around and like I saw that somewhere. I go, wow, that's an eye opener. 1-0 Florida there. Bobrovsky, 31 saves. Carter Verhaeghe, 1 goal, 1 assist. And Florida on just 1 day's rest, the travel day, they come back and they win. And
Adrenaline game.
yeah, definitely an adrenaline game. We'll see if there's any letdown in the next one. But the opening game of the Eastern Conference Final and the Panthers, they win over the Hurricanes 5-2. The highlight of this game was that stinking rat, Brad Marchand ejected. Shane Gottespier looked like he intentionally took a shot right at him, and then it was a melee, and then you had Marchand with a 4-minute roughing, a 10-minute game misconduct. So it's pretty crazy to start. What the tone is set right now for this series for sure.
To put that into perspective, what happened, Gostisbehere, for whatever reason, from behind his own blue line, about 5 feet away from Brad Marchand, just goes full throttle slap shot right at Marchand. And okay,
It
the
was not.
arguments.
It was that was not a shot pass.
Yeah, that was not a shot pass, exactly. The argument that Gostisbehere might say is, oh, maybe I was going for a long stretch pass or something like that. You're not taking a slap shot 6 feet in the air, or Brad Marchand's
Why
not that
was that
tall,
so
but
funny to
4
me?
feet
That
in
was
the
funny.
air, trying to do like the Golden Knights do that stretch pass where they will pass it from almost their own blue line. They will purposely lead the player. It comes off the boards and they try and set up a shot or something
That
like that.
diagonal pass that they
Yeah,
need to
exactly.
get
But
rid
it
of all.
would be
They
from
need
their
to
own
get rid
blue
of
line.
that.
You got the winger streaking or whatever.
Okay.
This was not that because the
No.
puck is elevated. You don't elevate the puck. So, I don't know if that just Carolina was. I mean, they're only down 2 goals at that point of the game. Like, I don't know if they were just completely unwound or what happened there, but it's a dumb play. It's a dangerous play. I get it's Marchand and whatever, fine, but just a dumb, dangerous play. And on the Panthers side, give them credit, right? I mean, they went 7 games with Toronto. Tough series. I know we joked about the last game and everything a lot, but they just
No,
had
they
an
look
emotional
good.
7-game series where they were down 2-0 and they come back
Yeah.
and win. And then just to turn on that quick against the Hurricanes, who have been a magnificent defensive team with solid goaltending through the first 2 rounds. So, let's see what happens in game 2. This is, of course, that's when that series is really going to start. But Paul Maurice, he's pretty good at this coaching thing. He's a lot better than we originally thought.
They're awfully
Stanley
good.
Cup winner and all that now. So I don't
Florida's
see
looking the
Florida
part.
slowing this down, but I
No, they look
see
the
I
part.
don't see a sweep either.
No, they're very
Or
confident.
however Rod Brindamore sees it.
On 13 in a row in the Western Conference.
That's nuts, Tony. That's
They've
nuts.
lost.
That's crazy.
On tap, the Western Conference. I said the Eastern Conference for Carolina. The Western Conference on tap tonight at American Airlines Arena in Dallas, and you've got the Stars at 6-1 in the playoffs at home. These two teams meeting for the second year in a row. Jamie Benn, a point per game versus Edmonton in the playoffs. Connor McDavid already has. It didn't seem like this. He had a quiet series, but he had 6 points and 17 playoff points already. And I like Edmonton in this series. And Corey Perry's the MVP. That's it. So here's the difference to me. You're rolling 4 lines against this 11-7 structure. And the way that Edmonton's playing there, I like Edmonton a lot in this series. And they're not, it's not going to go 7 because then DeBoer would win it. So I'd have to say Edmonton in 6.
What's crazy, you mentioned McDavid. So listen to these playoff numbers. 16 games, 33 points. 12 games, 20 points. 35 games, 42 points. That's actually probably his lowest point output. 25 points, 42. I'm sorry, stop. 16 games, 33 points. 12 games, 20 points. 25 games, 42 points. And then this season, 11 games and 17 points. So, yeah, McDavid, he's a freak. I don't know how else to say it. He's a freak. Odds-wise, the Stars are minus 132 tonight, but the series favors Edmonton at minus 118. So the books are telling you that they're going to split these first 2 games, and then after that, the Oilers are going to take over somewhere in the middle 3 games, I think. And not hopefully, but possibly take this 4-2. That's what the books are telling us is going to happen. So, hints: if the Stars win tonight, bet the Oilers on Saturday and see me at the window. But it'd be a fun series to watch. I mean, those are definitely going away the two best teams of the West right now. I'm sorry, Golden Knight fans. Golden Knights are not where the Oilers are right now. We're talking why that might change next year. But for the moment right now, the class of the West, easily Stars and Edmonton Oilers. Thought the Avalanche would be there, but obviously that didn't end up working out. Jets are the Jets. Good riddance. And here we are.
Stu Skinner in net tonight. You'd have to imagine there.
I was talking to
so taking over bet there.
I was talking to we'll say a goalie yesterday, and we were talking about Stuart Skinner, and I said, yeah, that's the next Patrick Waugh, baby. Let's go. Next Patrick Waugh. I got a chuckle.
You do get chuckles for that. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. Of course, especially our everydayers tuning in around the world. And of course, Friday's WTF. Yes, WTF. I don't know. I almost
had one today about the 215, but I'll save it for Friday.
Save that. And then, of course, Saturdays, sometimes, again, it is the Chris and Chris Jr. Show.
They'll be going sporadically over the summer, definitely.
Sporadic. That's a good way to put it. From my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco from Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights, and please take care.